Storytelling sells. We all know that. So let's talk about how to use storytelling to close more high ticket deals. Now, throughout the duration of the sales call, there are lots of ways in which you could use storytelling, but two of my favorite are what I'm going to be talking about in this video, with the first one being storytelling in your pitch. You've heard me talk about this a lot if you've watched any of my videos talking about how to pitch. And storytelling, what it has to do with that is allowing you to paint a picture in the prospect's mind so they can visually see how they're going to get from where they are to where they want to be using your services, working with you as a company. Instead of pitching features, instead of just saying, hey, we're going to give you this many calls, this course, this community, this whatever it is you're offering, instead of saying all of the kind of featurey things that you'll give, a pitch that tells a story is a lot more powerful. We know stories are powerful. It's why almost every single religion is, based off of historical storytelling, right? So talking about storytelling in the pitch, you want to paint the picture step by step. Each and every pillar of your pitch, each and every thing that you're talking about is, hey, first thing we're going to do together is this. Then once that's done, these are the benefits you're going to see. These are some of the things that are going to happen. And when that's happening, we're going to have to do second thing. Right now, imagine you're doing the second thing. This is what's going on. This is what you're seeing. You know how you told me you struggled with this. You're going to do this, this, and that. That's going to help you overcome that. And lastly, once that's done, because these things are happening, now we're going to do this, right? You're telling a story in an order that allows them to walk alongside it and listen and say, okay, I can see, okay, after that first pillar, I'll be there. Okay, that makes sense. Now I'm here. And boom, voila, as a byproduct of all of these things, at the end of this story, I've achieved the desired result. That is going to have them feeling like, hey, this makes sense, it's clear, and it allows you to present your product or service in a way that doesn't have them asking so many questions about what it is you even do. Like, you're clearly portraying the value. So that's the first type of storytelling that I like. Second type of storytelling that I really, really like to use is storytelling when, like, in testimonials, case studies. A lot of people, what I see is they use like case studies, they use testimonials in their sales calls, but they kind of just throw them out there. They just say, oh, by the way, you remind me of John, and John made money with this thing. And yeah, so I think you will too, and it's kind of a weak way to use it. And you can really tap into the prospect's mind and show them and really motivate them and get them excited to move forward and help them realize what's really possible for them if you take the time to tell a better story when you're presenting your testimonials. For example, instead of just being like, hey, John made money with this, and Catherine was able to scale her business to this, and Rebecca was able to scale her company to this per month. And instead of just like throwing out a bunch of numbers and, again, like featurey kind of things, like, hey, this person did this, this person did that, walk them through one person that is so eerily similar to them that they can actually put themselves in that person's shoes and see, okay, if it's possible for them, maybe it's possible for me, because they struggled with and they're going through the same things I'm going through, right? The whole point of testimonials, like, people don't care about a testimonial of someone getting results with your service that is so far removed from who they are and what they're like and the struggles they face that there's just no correlation, right? The testimonials are supposed to be evidence and proof that if they did it, they can do it too. So tell the story and paint that picture, right? So obviously this depends on when you're using the testimonial, but let's say you're using it somewhere towards the end of the call. You've gone through a bunch of discovery, so you have a deeper understanding of the person. Their fears, their pain, their reason for change, their desires, what's held them back, everything that you need to know about the problem or the reason that they're on the call. You can tell a testimonial picking out a specific case study of someone that you worked with or that you closed before or whatever that is so similar to the point where you're saying, hey, John, I'm on the call with John as the prospect. Instead of just being like, hey, John, Rebecca got results too, you can too. I'm saying, hey, John, you remind me of Rebecca who, she came in had no experience. She was, it was her first time ever doing something like this. She was afraid. She was worried. I'm breaking down the feelings, the thought process. Hey, she actually thought that she wasn't good enough or wouldn't be able to build the skill set in 6 months. She thought it was going to take a lot longer. Like, I'm displaying everything that person told me on the call, as long as it, as close as I can to the person that I have a good correlation to. So if I take a case study, instead of just putting out the numbers they got, I'm going to say, hey, I have this case study of this person who also had the same fears you have, who also had the same thoughts that you had, who also had the same problem that you had, who also has a similar goal than what you had, who also was like, any metrics that will make that person closer to that person. I'm going to tell the story. And therefore, when I say, hey, but what they realized or what they were able to do to overcome that was they did this, this, and this, that person is going to say, hey, I can see myself doing that to get those kinds of results too. Right? Does that make sense? I know I kind of went all over the place with how I explained that, but just breaking it down. Hey, John, I know, you remind me of Rebecca, who, she was super, super afraid to jump in. Her business was only getting a few leads per day. Even the leads that she was getting, they weren't really qualified. And, her close rates, because they weren't qualified, were kind of around 3 to 5%. And when she did this and this and this, it changed so that she was able to now get XYZ results. And, I should be, if I'm doing this right, talking to someone who is only getting a few leads per day as well, just like the story, who, didn't have many of those leads that were qualified as well, just like the story, right? They see themselves in the story so they can see themselves in the result. End of rant. I'm gonna leave it there. Lots of ways, like I said, lots and lots and lots of ways to use storytelling in sales. You definitely want to use it because stories sell. People are convinced by a great story. So if you want more people to believe what you're saying, to be motivated by what you're saying, to have confidence in what you're saying, telling a great story will help. Hope that helps. I'll see you guys in the next video.